We live in an age when, for all intents and purposes, things should be easier. But with the exposure and the options that we have to everything around us, what we find out is that things also seem more alluring. And when things are more alluring, we desire more. When you desire more, you actually become less content. No matter what your state might be, no matter how things might be going for you, how much money you might have, how easy your job might be, we oftentimes still want more. And when you continue to want more all the time, you're unhappy. And if you're unhappy, life is hard. Isn't that right? Life can be hard if you're unhappy, but people are unhappy because they're discontent. I would say we live in an age of discontent. There were times when things were much harder, and yet people could still seemingly find happiness because just to even get an extra morsel was exhilarating, right? And so what is wrong with us that we just cannot be happy? And this is, I guess, this is kind of an age-old question. And I think the bottom line is people just cannot be happy with what they have. They'll oftentimes pray to God and ask him for more, and they can't figure out why they're not getting it. Here's a little story about a mouse who went to the country. It's written by James Thurber. Just listen to it carefully, and let me just make my remarks on it briefly. It's called The Mouse Who Went to the Country. All right. Once upon a Sunday, there was a city mouse who went to visit a country mouse. He hid away on a train the country mouse had told him to take, only to find that on Sundays it did not stop at Beddington. Hence, the city mouse could not get off at Beddington and catch a bus for Sybert's Junction, where he used to be met by the country mouse. The city mouse, in fact, was carried on to Middleburg, where he waited 3 hours for a train to take him back. When he got back to Beddington, he found that the last bus for Sybert's Junction had just left. So he ran, and he ran, and he ran. And he finally caught the bus and crept aboard, only to find out that it was not the bus for Sybert's Junction at all, but was going in the opposite direction through Pell's Hollow and Grum to a place called Wimberby. When the bus finally stopped, the city mouse got out into a heavy rain and found that there was no more buses that night going anywhere. To hell with it, said the city mouse, and he walked back to the city. Thurber's moral to the story is, stay where you are, you're sitting pretty. Here's the thing. A lot of us will spend a lifetime chasing something that we think we want. And this is very easy to do because we live in a time, like I said, when we are exposed to so much more than we used to with social media. You see pictures on Instagram of people traveling all over the world. They might have fancy cars. They might make promises that you can have what they have. You do what they do. And people post on Facebook about how their life is going. They give you updates and the highlights and the progress that they're making, and you begin to wonder, why is this not happening to me? And everything looks happy and glowing for everyone else, and you think something's wrong with you, so therefore you're always unhappy. But how many people have actually acquired the very thing that they've chased down, only to find out that it's not exactly what they wanted, and there's always another carrot at the end of the stick? They continue to be discontented. They can't be happy with what they have, and they felt like they've been sold a bag of goods. Promises that were made to them seem to be, what's the word? I can't think of the word I want to think of, where it's just, promises that were made just didn't turn out to be what they thought they were going to be. And so discontent settles in, creeps into the bones, and they just can't be happy. Here's what I would suggest. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. And perhaps making plans, deliberate plans, and careful calculations. But until you learn to be happy with what you got, why should God ever give you more? My parents taught me a long time ago, and I think they're right, that oftentimes God will not move you until you're happy with what you have, until you're happy with where you're at. You would be surprised, and I've seen this in my own life, and I've said this before in other videos, that it was when I gave up and learned to be happy with where I was at, that was when there was a change in my life, and there was a move made in a positive direction. Because if you can't be happy with what you have, what makes you think you'll be happy with what you'll get? Learn to be happy with where you're at. You're sitting pretty. All right, guys, I hope this has meant something to you. I hope it's made you think a little bit, and maybe take stock and appreciate what you have. Stop and count your blessings. Stop and think about all the things that you've received in life that is actually good, and count the advantages of being where you're at with what you have, and just learn to be thankful. When you do that, don't be surprised when things start changing. And here's the thing, when they do, you'll actually enjoy it. You won't keep looking for the next bigger, better thing. You'll actually enjoy what you have. And when things come your way, you'll just constantly learn to be happy with what you have, instead of being disappointed in the results, being deflated that everything wasn't exactly what you thought it was. All right, guys, give that some thought. I hope it struck home. And if you like this, share it with somebody else, and like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my other content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.